You're listening to a very special podcast. Don't forget to subscribe via iTunes or YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast and check out our website of veryspecialpodcast.tumblr.com.
Welcome back to a very special podcast, everybody. This is the podcast in which we watch all of your favorite TV shows from yesteryear, and then we discuss them over a glass of wine. And I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You probably remember me from the previous slew of episodes. And, as always, I'm joined here by the acclaimed author, Kat Halstead.
Aw, Patrick, that's so sweet of you. Don't you know?
Tonight we're doing Murder, She Wrote, which is about the life of a crime-solving author. So, do you feel a connection to the character of Jessica Fletcher?
Nope, not at all. I'll be honest. Okay, maybe she's kind of gossipy and maybe a little sassy. And I'm kind of gossipy and a little sassy. So, maybe on that level.
That's where all similarities end.
Yes.
I thought, you know what, let's do Murder, She Wrote because it involves the story of an author. Kat Halstead is an author, so I was like, damn. I was like, we finally have your wheelhouse, but apparently the two of you are enemies.
Well, I don't write murder mysteries.
Have you ever considered writing a murder mystery?
I have, but I don't like to think about people dying.
Oh, maybe you can do like a thief.
Like a thief?
Like who stole the piano, like the antique piano.
Who moved this giant baby grand piano out of the hotel?
And I'm picturing like a grand piano, like a Liberace piano.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was totally picturing too.
Someone like cuts a hole in the roof and helicopters it out.
Because they have to have this piano.
That is something that you would probably see in the 1960s version of Batman. I could picture the Joker cutting a hole in like a music shop, getting some kind of like Joker copter, and then pulling the piano like out from the ceiling.
Oh my god, I could totally see the Penguin cutting a hole in the floor and popping out and being like, damn, the Joker got it first.
The Penguin has to open up his umbrella and this gas comes out to knock all the employees out.
Exactly.
All right, so Murder, She Wrote is the classic series that everybody's grandparents love.
Yeah.
It aired from 1984 until 1996. A whopping 12 seasons.
Well, yeah, like most shows, you're lucky if you get a good 3 to 5 seasons. Let's be real. If you go past 5 seasons, you're golden. But like most shows that are on today aren't even close. Big Bang Theory is pretty close, though. I think they just finished their 9th season or something like that.
If a series hits double digits, it's a big thing. Like, I believe like CSI hit double digits, did they?
Yeah, I think one of those CSIs did.
Law and Order SVU is still thriving.
Well, I think it's because that's how they're so ingrained in our pop culture, is because they were on for so long. Let's be honest. I don't think either of us were sitting down on a Sunday night to watch Murder, She Wrote.
Like, my grandmother watched Murder, She Wrote because I think in the early 90s it aired endlessly in reruns on like the USA Network. It was always on in the afternoon.
Yeah, there's definitely an abundance of reruns when we were younger too.
And I remember going to my grandmother's house because she'd always just be chilling on the couch. And for some reason, every time I went in there, Murder, She Wrote was on. And I would watch it because I love a good mystery, a good Agatha Christie style mystery.
Yeah.
The way some of the episodes flow, and especially the episode that we do tonight, it gets really confusing.
Yeah, they're just weird. I don't know if it's that we are so used to a bit of a more fast-paced kind of mystery, because I definitely didn't watch Murder, She Wrote when I was a kid. My grandparents watched it when they would come up from Florida, but, you know, when I started watching, like, mystery shows, it was like Law and Order, so I had that beat of a Law and Order kind of thing, which has a different flow than a Murder, She Wrote.
Like a good ripped from the headline story, something that you saw on the news a month before. And Law and Order kind of broke the episode up, so you had the law part first, which involved like,
and then you had the Order.
And you had the Order. I love explaining Law and Order to people that don't get Law and Order, like I've never seen it, and I'm like, the show is called Law and Order, and the first half is law, and the last half is order. It's Dick Wolf is a genius, a real man of genius, and I still watch SVU sometimes.
I will like get sucked into a marathon of reruns on like USA or whatever it is, and I'm just there for like hours.
You're there for hours. You get the best cameo of actors and actresses. Like I saw one with Misha Barton, and she plays like a reformed prostitute.
There's one that has like the older Pete from Pete and Pete in it.
Oh, no way.
Yes, it's like one of the way early ones. Like, I don't sit down on a Wednesday night and watch SVU anymore, because I don't even know what I watch on a Wednesday night, but I just don't.
When you watch SVU, you don't want to just watch one episode.
No, you want to get sucked into that, like, 10-hour binge on USA, and you're just like, the show, oh my god.
And you want to feel like shit after it, too. You want to be like, I am disgusted with myself that I just sat on the couch, did not move for the last 11 hours.
Wow.
There's food crumbs all over me. I probably smell.
Well, I watch these really disturbing cases.
And you're always like, one more. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm pulling out.
It's like, I don't have to go do anything right now. I can watch one more SVU. I can watch an old one with Stabler and Benson. Heck yeah.
There was like a period, like sometimes it would cross over with, I think it was Homicide, Life on the Streets.
Oh, Law and Order would, yes.
Whatever of the episodes aired first, you never get the complete story.
Yeah, because you never get the Homicide rerun. But you get, like, the Law and Order part.
You feel so cheated.
You just get this random, like, cameo from Richard Belzer.
Well, because Richard Belzer debuted as the character of Munch on Homicide, Life on the Streets.
Yes.
And Homicide occasionally crossed over with Law and Order. And I guess the character was so popular, but Homicide was not as popular. So
yeah.
When they came out with SVU, they shoehorned him into this new series.
Yes.
And Richard Belzer also played Munch on an episode of The X-Files as well.
Oh, that's right. And he wrote a book about conspiracy theories.
Yes. And Richard Belzer was a comedian. That was primarily what his career was before Law and Order.
Yeah.
Which is just so strange to me, because I don't think of him as a comedic actor in any way.
Yeah, neither do I.
So it's just mind-boggling to me sometimes. Like every now and then I am reminded in some way life tickles me that, hey, Richard Belzer used to be a comedian. Like, he used to always be on Howard Stern and telling jokes and shit, and you're like, whoa, you're like, tonight he's gonna be solving some sexy crimes.
They're not even sexy crimes, they're creepy crimes.
They're always off the wall. I love the ones, though, that there'll be some crazy real life event, and we'll do the fictionalized version of it. I eat that shit up. Oh,
the rip from the headlines ones are always amazing.
I don't know if Murder, She Wrote ever went that route.
I don't think they did. I think if they borrowed from anything, it was like an Agatha Christie novel here and there.
Yeah, I believe there was rumors that the character of Jessica Fletcher is based on an Agatha Christie character, but I did discover that was not really true.
Yeah, they say it's not true, but let's be real. They probably just didn't want the connection. They're like, no, of course not. No.
The best way that I can summarize Murder, She Wrote, and a lot of other CBS procedurals, or even like any, not just CBS, but most procedurals, it's adult Scooby-Doo. Yes.
It really is.
Like, I wonder if the creator of the show just like really loved Scooby-Doo as a child.
There is actually a very Scooby-Doo kind of line in this episode.
Which is it?
It's the one about that damn cat.
Oh, yes. All right, so the reason we chose a Season 7, Episode 5, the episode is called The Family Jewels. I selected this episode because I thought the title was funny. I just saw Family Jewels, and I was like, we have to do this one.
Because you're still a 12-year-old boy deep inside.
Yes, there is still a 12-year-old boy inside of me that will giggle. And I wonder if the writer of this episode felt the same way. Like, let's just name the episode The Family Jewels.
Probably.
This was, like, episode aired, I think, early 90s. This is probably, like, 90, 91, I believe.
90.
1990. So you really didn't know the episode titles of series?
Unless they put them on the screen, yeah.
which they do in this episode. And one thing I always liked about Murder, She Wrote, though, is they always started the episode off with, like, you got clips of what the episode was going to be about.
Yeah. You don't get that today.
I want to know the reason behind it, because, like, I wonder if they had, like, an elderly crowd that just did not pay attention to plot lines, so maybe they kind of, like, had to give them, like, a quick summary of what the episode's going to be about.
It's right before the VCR really, like, takes off when they start the show. There's no TiVo DVR back then. So you can't pause, rewind, like all that cool stuff we can do right now. You can't hold your remote up to your mouth and say, I want to watch Murder, She Wrote, and it'll find you all the episodes of Murder, She Wrote on demand or that you've recorded.
And you pick whatever one you want to watch.
Yeah.
You have all 12 seasons of Murder, She Wrote at your disposal right now. Like, my grandmother would have shit her pants.
Yeah, my grandparents would have been like, yes.
She would have shat her pants if she saw that she could watch Murder, She Wrote all day long, no commercials. She
could pause it. She could rewind it. She could fast forward it. She could jump around and watch whichever one she wanted to.
So amazing. All right, so should we get into the episode?
Yeah, we should probably get into it.
Actually, before we get into the episode.
Okay.
So Angela Lansbury plays the title character, Jessica Fletcher.
Yes.
She lives in the small town of Cabot Cove, Maine.
Correct.
She's an author. She writes murder mysteries, but she, on the side, solves mysteries, like local mysteries.
She just butts her way into all these investigations.
Did she have any credentials?
No, she was like a retired English teacher.
But the local police, like, consult with her, like, all the time.
Well, I think it's because they know she's gonna butt in anyways. You know what it is? She's like Sean and Gus from Psych.
Yes.
She's always butting into the mysteries.
Some of the police staff do not like her. Some of them trust her advice. But you would think that they would have maybe offered her, like, a criminal profiler job, maybe? Like, with the FBI or something?
Something.
Like, just some... Because she was really good at what she does.
She's solving all these cases.
She gets under the skin. She can talk to you for 13 seconds and she'll be like, he's not the murderer. Like, how do you know? And it'll be like, the way he has that vocal tick. Like, she picks up on the most minute of details.
Yes, that she does.
But there's fan theories that Jessica Fletcher is actually, like, the perpetrator of all these crimes.
Of all of them?
If, like, all these murders that happen in Cabot Cove.
So what does she do? Does she hypnotize these other people into, like, confessing?
Could be. She has a way with words. She has a way of bringing out guilt and innocence in people. She could probably convince you that you are guilty. Like, maybe you got into an argument with your wife.
Yeah.
And then your wife is found dead an hour later. You know you didn't do it. You know you did not kill your wife, but she literally will convince you that you've done it.
She'll convince you that you're the one who did it, so you better confess.
Like, I'm horrified by this town. Like, there's so much crime here.
There really is. It's like a town of less than 4,000 people, and there's so much crime.
Like, every week there's a murder.
Like, do you think this town is just relieved as fuck whenever she goes away on vacation or for, like, a meeting in New York or something? They're just like, oh, thank God, nobody's gonna die here this week.
Yeah, because at one point in time, I guess even the writers were like, holy shit, we can't just have, like, murders happening in Cabot Cove every week. So, like, sometimes she has to go to Manhattan, which I believe she goes to Manhattan in tonight's episode.
Yes.
So she gets invited to, like, a party in Manhattan, and there's a murder there, like, no matter where she goes. Like, she's always, like, on the edge of murder wherever she goes.
So, like, if you want somebody to die, just invite Jessica Fletcher to a party, because somebody will die. Hopefully it's just not you.
Alright, so in the beginning of this episode, she's in Manhattan. She's at a jewelry store, I guess just trying to get, like, her watch fixed. Like, the battery in her watch died or something.
Yeah, she's got, like, you know, her nice watch, and sometimes there are some watches that you just can't go to the store and buy the battery for. You have to take it to a jeweler. Yeah, I have one somewhere that I have to have a jeweler do it. But so she takes it to this fancy jewelry store to get it done.
She goes to a fancy, probably like a Fifth Avenue type jewelry store.
It's swanky. That's the word I'm looking for. Swanky.
This is the kind of jewelry store that has multiple guards
Mm-hmm.
in every perimeter of the store. And she's in town. I guess she has a date.
Yeah, I can't figure out if she's just in town to go to this fundraiser with this guy, or is she in town because she had a meeting with her publisher and it just happened to coincide.
They don't specify, but she gets invited to some huge party with, I guess, this guy who's running for office of some sort.
Yeah, he's running to be the DA.
The DA. And the way they talked about this character, I thought he was like a recurring character on the show.
So did I. Like the way they opened with him, because they opened the episode with him. Like we're supposed to know who he is, like have some idea.
There's no mention of how Jessica and this guy met. So I thought, maybe this is like her boyfriend for like half a season or something. But when I looked up this episode on IMDb, this is his only episode that he's in.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get I could not figure out the character's name because like they only...
Drew Borden.
So I Googled like Drew Borden, like nothing comes up. So like he's not a known character. He's just in this one episode. He just asks Jessica Fletcher to go to this like fundraising party. She just happens to be in town. She goes to get her watch fixed at this jewelry shop. And she's just kind of like looking around, well, what she usually does. She's so nosy.
She is. She's so nosy. She's just like watching. And she's like waiting for something to happen. That's the thing. She's waiting for there to be some kind of drama, some mystery for her to solve.
Yeah, she's like kind of like the woman who just sits at her window all day long, just looks out the window and just like waiting for someone to do something wrong.
She's totally a Mrs. Kravitz, but she doesn't have an Abner to calm her down.
Someone, like a young teenage boy in his like hot rod speeds by and she's like immediately calling the cops. She just loves to like point the wrongs out in people. So she notices another rich woman, a character who we learn her name is Sheila.
Yes.
She sees this woman. She's looking at jewelry. There's like a whole tray of like necklaces.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 like diamond necklaces. And I don't mean like a pendant with a diamond in it. I mean like the whole necklace is diamonds.
Like the kind of necklace that sank to the bottom of the ocean in Titanic.
Like more diamonds than that.
Oh, this thing was loaded with diamonds.
Yeah, there was just diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. You could totally frost yourself that.
So the store clerk looks away for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica sees Sheila grab the necklace and stuff it in her purse. And then Sheila's like, you know what? I'm not going to buy anything today. And
she's like, I'm good. I don't need a new necklace. What am I doing here?
Yeah, and she takes off. She has like her personal assistant with her, Rocco.
Yes, the chauffeur.
Rocco, let's go. It's time to go. And Jessica just like has to get involved in this right off the bat. Like she can't not get involved.
She just has to insert herself in every situation possible. She would be so annoying as a friend. Can we be real?
Oh, I think I texted you last night and I was like, I am so annoyed by Jessica Fletcher. I'm like, I cannot. And I was only like 10 minutes into this episode. Not even. I think I was like just at this scene. So she has to confront the store clerk and she's like, excuse me. She's like, I hate to be rude, but that woman that you were helping out, I just saw her put a necklace, a ruby encrusted necklace in her purse.
A diamond and ruby necklace.
Yes. And the clerk is like, we don't have a diamond and ruby necklace. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what do you? It was red rubies, and he's like, no, we don't have anything of that nature here. So she's like, that is so bizarre. So literally in the next scene, she's with Drew Borden or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
She can't let it go.
She's just obsessed with the fact that she saw this woman take this necklace, and the guy at the jewelry store was like, lady, no such necklace exists. You need to like back the F off.
Yeah, she's like, it's so... She said the word bizarre so many times in this episode because she kept saying, it was so bizarre. It was so bizarre.
Okay, that's where you insert the clip of the song.
All right, so then they're now at this party, I guess. Is that the...
Yeah, they're at the fundraiser.
All right, no, it's right before the fundraiser. So Sheila and Rocco,
the chauffeur, are getting like busy in the backseat of the car.
They're in the back of the limo, like in the garage, and the limo is a-rockin'. And then you have to get the shifty-eyed witness. So I guess Rocco has a thing with like the maid of this household.
Yes, with Margaret the maid.
Margaret the maid, and she's looking out the window, like looking through the blinds, all shifty-eyed, looking really guilty. Like,
I'm really pissed.
Like, you're thinking, shit, is she going to be the murderer in this?
That's who I would have guessed right away.
Well, that's what they do. They do that whole thing, like, let's show you the most obvious person first.
The red herring.
The red herring. You're going to go through 45 minutes of this episode thinking that it was her, then at the last minute you'll find out it wasn't. Sorry that I debunked the murder she-wrote formula.
Oh, well.
So now we go to the party. We cut to the party. Jessica is there. It's actually at Sheila's house, the party.
Yes. Sheila and her husband, Porter, who is like besties with Drew, are throwing this fundraiser to get Drew more money for his campaign.
And Jessica's there. She sees Sheila, and she's like, oh my god, Drew, that's the woman from the jewelry store.
And she's wearing the necklace.
She's wearing the necklace, so now she's like, she has to find out.
She's even more convinced the shifty stuff is going on.
Yeah, so she has to, like, confront Sheila.
Because, God forbid, she let it go.
She won't let it go, so, like, Sheila just takes her through, like, the who's who of Manhattan. So you meet this other woman who has these, like, fabulous earrings, and the woman's like, these earrings are one of a kind. And Sheila's like, no, I have the same pair.
Yeah.
Upstairs. And then, does Rocco show up right here?
Yeah, Sheila sees Rocco, and Sheila runs off to talk to Rocco, leaving Jessica to talk to this boring Boston high society lady.
But there's a quick argument between Jessica and Rocco that you kind of, like, see in the back. You don't
Sheila
see the dialogue.
and Rocco.
You just see the argument between Sheila and Rocco, like, in the background.
Yeah.
And Jessica is, like, ignoring this high society woman, just, like, studying them.
She's just, like, listening, but not listening.
She's like, something's afoot, and they exit left. They just disappear. 10 seconds later, there's a murder. They find the body of Rocco in the backseat of the limo. He got, like, hit with a tire iron.
Yeah, he got killed with a tire iron. Before
they call the police, they
all go and investigate. Jessica, Drew, Porter, and none of them have gloves on or anything, but they're touching stuff.
Someone in the party knows that Jessica is, like, an amateur detective.
Well, yeah, Drew knows, and then Porter knows, but still.
They grab her, like it's not like, let's call the police. It's like, hey, let's go grab Jessica.
Let's go find Jessica.
So they grab Jessica. She is not surprised there's a murder. Like, it doesn't bother her anymore. Just like,
no, can we be real? No one is really, like, that upset that there was a murder. They're all kind of chill. It's really weird.
And I think they show, like, a scene of people, like, leaving the party. And, like, Sheila's like, sorry, like, what happened?
It's like, oops, sorry, there was a murder.
Sheila's husband's like, oh, sorry, there was a murder at this party. Like, next week will be better, I promise. You want a doggy bag for that? For those doors? There's no, like, screaming or freaking out or...
Yeah, there's nobody... Like, everybody's just so calm, and, like, this happens all the time. You should not be calm. Someone should be freaking out.
I have never been to a murder, but I just imagine it's chaos.
Yeah. I feel like you're not all just kind of chill, just wait for the detective or lieutenant to arrive.
Like, honey, should we go get our bags now? And he's like, no, let me finish this cocktail first.
Yeah, let me go finish my cocktail, then we'll go get your fur. It's okay, sweetheart.
Before we get any further, I think Sheila was my favorite character in this episode. Like, there should be a spin-off.
Sheila's the most interesting one. I just want to know about Sheila, all the young hot guys she's sleeping with, all the necklaces she's stealing.
Yes, so we'll learn through some, like, really long exposition that just takes, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So Sheila's married to this guy. I guess he has impotence, maybe?
Maybe, or maybe because it was 1990, maybe he's a little not straight.
They sleep in separate rooms, we learn.
Yes.
They're only together for political reasons, I think.
Yeah, basically, she has money. He's got the old family name.
And she's allowed to sleep around. He doesn't care. They have, like, an arrangement.
Yeah, she can screw the chauffeur. He went and found Rocco for her.
Yeah, so Rocco and Sheila were...
Yeah, they were high school sweethearts.
But Rocco broke her heart.
When she went to Switzerland.
But she always thought about him over the years. And Sheila's husband found him, tracked him down, hired him as the chauffeur. But he had wandering eyes, so, you know, he started a thing with Margaret, the housemaid.
Yeah.
And Margaret and Rocco, I guess, made plans to leave the country?
Yeah, they were going to go to Rio de Janeiro. Why would you go to Rio de Janeiro?
I don't know. But Jessica was questioning this because she's like, neither of them have any money.
Yeah, like, where are you going to get the money to go live in a whole different country? And what do you actually plan to do there? Like, it didn't sound like they planned to have a job. They just, like, planned to live there and just be like, have sex on the beach or something.
Jessica's, like, first doubts. But the police thought Sheila was the murderer because I guess
they found like this clip-on bow that you wear on that for your shoes to accessorize them. They're totally the kind of thing Patrice from Dance Till Dawn would have had on her shoes to match everything
to match
up.
The Paris and Puce.
Mm-hmm.
So the cops arrested Sheila. She like spent like a couple. She got arrested, but she wasn't put in a cell. She just like chilled.
No, Lieutenant's like, here, you hang out in my office instead.
Yeah, she probably had like a New Yorker magazine, just chilled on the couch that was in there because
she could probably get like an iced coffee or a margarita if she really wanted one.
Oh, she probably had a margarita. She's definitely a party animal.
No, for sure. I want to know about Sheila's wild adventures on the Riviera.
Yeah, that's why I want like a Sheila spinoff because she was such a fun character. She was just full of life. Like the love of her life died. She was like only like partially upset.
Yeah, they're all like, like nobody's crying, nobody's like freaking out.
Because Jessica feels that she should mention to Sheila's husband that she shoplifted from the jewelry store earlier that day.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, she does this all the time.
He's like, it's no big deal.
When she was younger, before she was rich, she was like, had a real bad habit of shoplifting.
Yeah, apparently candy bars. She compares candy bars to diamond necklaces.
Yes, to like $78,000 necklaces.
To like a 50-cent candy bar.
So Sheila's husband made like a deal with the jewelry store that whatever my wife steals, just send me a bill and I'll pay it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, that's kind of weird. They don't let Sheila know about it.
So for years, Sheila has thought she's been getting away with stealing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of jewelry.
And then like she gives stuff away. Like she gives Jessica like
it's like a little barrette pin thing to Jessica.
Like a brooch?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of ugly. Couldn't really tell what it was.
It looks like, you know those like bedazzling kits that you got when you were a little kid? It looks like something that was bedazzled.
Yes, totally.
Like you would take a paper clip and you would bedazzle it. That's what it looks like to me. So Sheila put it in. Well, she tried to give it to Jessica, but Jessica like refused to take it because
Jessica's like, no thanks.
Because like Sheila and Jessica like they immediately hit it off as like friends because Jessica did not believe that Sheila was the criminal.
Yeah.
But Sheila wants Jessica to have it, so she drops it in the purse.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica finds it the next day, which I guess brings her back to the house for because
she wants to return it.
And something. This episode was so confusing.
Somehow Jessica ends up spending the night.
Yeah, Sheila's husband, like, invites Jessica to stay the night. Like, you need to stay in town until this crime is solved. I need you to, like, help prove my wife's innocence. At one point, they think it's Margaret, the housemaid, but Jessica doesn't think it's her either.
Yeah.
But, like, somehow the jewelry store clerk comes back up.
Yeah, I don't even remember how, because it just made no sense. Oh, because Jessica goes to get her watch, and she's talking to the clerk at this place, and he's all like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That's how Jessica ended up talking to Porter about it. And then Porter explained that he was paying for the jewelry that she was stealing.
But then we find out that the jewelry that she was stealing was actually knockoff jewelry.
Well, yeah, because somebody breaks into this house, disarms the alarm system, breaks in, chloroforms Sheila, and he's trying to steal the jewelry, but he steps on a cat's tail, and the cat goes, meow, and wakes everybody up.
They see the thief, like, run out the window.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, now what's going on? So they wake up Sheila. She eventually wakes up from the chloroform thing, and like now they're like Jessica's like now starting to put all these things together. Mm-hmm. So they want to, I guess, use Margaret as like...
Well, because this is what happens. You forgot the best part. So there's like this tray of jewelry on the floor that the guy was trying to steal. And one of the pieces is an earring identical to Little Miss. Oh, it's a one-of-a-kind set.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
So Jessica takes it to Drew, who has like some third-party like jewelry guy examine it. And all the pieces that Jessica had brought with her, except for one, were just like fakes. The only one that was real was the diamond and ruby one.
So they suspect something going on with the jewelry store. So they decide to use Margaret as bait.
Yeah.
I guess, was she in cahoots with somebody, though?
Like, she maybe kind of sort of knew some of what Rocco was doing with the jewelry store guy. I don't think she's innocent. I think she was involved somehow.
But, why did they murder Rocky? That's what I never understood.
Because the jewelry store guy didn't want to get blackmailed.
So Rocky picked up on the whole jewelry scam that...
He realized he wasn't the only one, guy doing this for this idiot. He was one of many chauffeurs stealing jewelry and replacing it with fakes.
Because he knew about it, he was going to blackmail the jewelry store people.
Yeah.
That's why they killed him?
Yeah, that's why he got killed.
They explain it, but as I said, it takes a lot.
It does.
Of work for them to explain what's going on in this episode. That's why I was
confused. Okay, so when the guy is finally confessing, I'm sitting there dude, where's your lawyer? Why the hell is Jessica in this room?
There's not even was there police involved?
The lieutenant was there. The lieutenant who's trying to prove he's good enough to work for the NYPD.
Well, the guy who was actually the murderer, Jessica just asks him a question and he just immediately admits to it. He's like, "All right, I did it."
Okay, yeah, I did it, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that damn cat. Which, you guys, is literally what the line is.
But it was mostly Jessica doing the questioning. It was not much of the police.
It wasn't the police. It wasn't Drew, the ADA or whatever he is. It was Jessica.
It was just so bizarre. And there's a part where Jessica actually explains what happens.
Yeah.
And they show scenes of it too, and it still made no sense to me.
It was so weird. But I don't know if it's just I'm used to a different kind of detective mystery procedural or what.
It all just seemed like lucky breaks is what it really seemed like. They just happened to invite Jessica to stay that night, the night that the murderer breaks in to steal the necklace and steps on a cat, and Jessica wakes up and obviously has to get involved because...
God forbid she not be involved in something, my God.
That's just the kind of person she is. And they just invite Jessica to stay. She's a stranger to these people.
Hi, let's invite this woman who everywhere she goes, people die.
So then we are at the end and Sheila and Jessica have this kind of bonding moment.
Yeah.
And it's just oh, thank you, we're gonna be friends forever now. But you probably know you'll never see Sheila again, ever.
Let's be real, Sheila's off somewhere. She's gambling in Monaco or something.
With some, new young stud.
Oh, I'm sure Sheila in 2016 has, the hottest, youngest little male lover possible.
That wears, a mankini.
Yeah, he wears the mankini. He's probably got, a nice text when she takes him to the casino.
Yeah, her husband's probably... I imagine he's probably passed by now. He didn't look too healthy.
No, and if he's still there, he's probably got his own little man to hang around with.
Sheila was finally you know what? Let's get you your own mankini.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess in the 90s, they didn't want to explicitly come out and say that he was gay, so they just had to say he had trouble getting it up. He has trouble getting it up. But they didn't even come out specifically and say that.
Yeah, it was very much an illusion of, fill in the blank.
How did you feel about Murder, She Wrote? Would you ever consider doing Murder, She Wrote for another episode of the podcast?
Only if it involves Magnum P.I., so I can drool over Tom Selleck.
So there is an episode of Magnum P.I.
Yeah, I think it's a two-parter. There's a Magnum and a Murder, She Wrote.
And we just discovered this last night that this happened. Had we known about it sooner, we probably would have selected those two episodes.
You know what? I bet we knew about it, but we forgot. I bet in one of the Magnum episodes, we mentioned the crossover with Murder, She Wrote.
We probably did.
We were pretty drunk during those episodes, so...
Yes. Those were the blackout episodes of the series, of our podcast. We've come a long way.
Yes. Well, one of us doesn't drink anymore.
So in a future episode, we probably don't want to do another standalone Murder, She Wrote. We definitely want to involve Magnum P.I. because we love Tom Selleck. We love his mustache. We love his Hawaiian shirts and the wacky adventures and crazy shenanigans that he gets himself into.
We sure do.
But another fun fact about Murder, She Wrote. So after the series ended in 1996, the show was still popular, but I guess CBS just did not want to do it anymore for some reason.
It was going into its 12th season, and Les Movies, who is the head of CBS, I think this is right around the time he took over, moved it from its Sunday night time slot, where it had been for 11 seasons, to Thursday night, where it was up against Friends. Friends killed Murder, She Wrote.
And this was like prime must-see TV for NBC. So this is like Seinfeld.
Friends, Seinfeld, The Single Guy, whatever else.
Suddenly Susan.
Yeah, Suddenly Susan was like a Monday night one. Why do I know that? Why do I know this random crap?
I always felt like Suddenly Susan was like on after Seinfeld.
No.
What's the other one? Victoria's Closet?
Veronica's Closet.
Veronica's Closet?
Yes.
I always said Victoria's Secret.
Well, because it's supposed to be a takeoff on that.
But whatever that show was, it slaughtered Murder, She Wrote's ratings, and the show, they canceled it. But they brought back 4 additional Murder, She Wrote movies.
Yes.
To wrap up her...
Just because there was still more places that Jessica had to go where people had to die.
And then there was talks of them even reviving it.
Yes, with
Octavia Spencer.
It was Octavia Spencer.
But it never took off, and I guess Angela Lansbury took offense to the idea because she kind of felt like that she should be the only
Jessica Fletcher.
Yes, like she should just be this immortalized character. Just let her be. And I feel like that way sometimes. I kind of don't like when they're doing it to MacGyver this year.
Yeah, they're redoing MacGyver, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. And like, okay, MacGyver was totally one of those shows my mom watched that I didn't watch, but like, you know who MacGyver is. He's Jeffrey Dean Anderson. Like, right name?
Richard Dean Anderson.
Richard Dean Anderson. Sorry. Maybe if he got his butt back on General Hospital, I could remember his name.
But I feel like they could just get Richard Dean Anderson to play an older MacGyver instead of just...
Let's just reboot the whole thing. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, because it was such a big show. It had a huge audience. Like, I watched it when I was a child.
Yeah, like, I remember my mom watching it. I don't really remember much about it. I just remember my mom watching it.
And I guess they want lightning to strike twice. They want to kind of reboot it for younger audiences, but I feel like not going to work.
Yeah, probably not.
Who knows, though, because Hawaii 5-0...
have worked.
This is not going to work, and it's, been on for like 7 seasons now?
Something like that. I watched like the first half of the first season, and then I was just like, I'd rather go to the casino and go bowling than stay home and watch this.
They keep the theme of the show the same, but there's always some kind of big difference between the show that it just doesn't strike. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with MacGyver. The fun of MacGyver was this took place in a pre-smartphone era. Pre-internet, so he kind of had to rely on his wits and whatever objects were around him.
Yeah.
Probably going to be a hard thing, I think, to do in modern day times.
Because it's going to be like, why don't you just whip out your cell phone?
Google the answer.
And look up the life hack you need. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do a new Magnum.
Maybe when Hawaii 5-0 ends.
Because
in real life, well, not in real life, in the original Hawaii 5-0, as soon as that series ended.
Then we got Magnum.
Which we previously mentioned that Magnum P.I. was an unofficial spin-off.
Yeah, because there's like this mention of Dano.
It was originally conceived that way, but I guess they changed their mind. But there's still weird references in the mix. But speaking of Hawaii...
Yes.
Our next episode, in a way, kind of involves Hawaii.
It is? I don't even know what our next episode is.
This series was filmed in Hawaii. A classic, speaking of mystery, we're sticking with the mystery theme.
Oh my god. Yes, I know exactly what this is now.
We're going to do an episode of Lost. And I know what you're thinking. How can you just do one episode of Lost?
There's only one way to do one episode of Lost.
We're a very episodic podcast in which we try not to do series that have long arcs. Things that are really self-contained, but we both love Lost. There's one episode of Lost that really stands alone. It's the Nikki and Paulo themed episode of Lost.
Yes, like the worst episode ever.
It's highly regarded as the worst episode of Lost. However, I have this strange, undeniable love.
There is kind of like this great love of that episode though too, because
there are a lot of great lines, a lot of great moments. I cannot wait to get into this. So join us next week when we do the Nikki and Paulo episode of Lost.